What's up, guys? Welcome to another Terado on Toys. If you're new here, welcome to the channel, and to those who have been here before, welcome back and thank you for returning. So this is my first MEZCO 112 figure, and I had to start with Wolverine because he's my favorite Marvel character and my favorite X-Men, and my collection really needs an upgrade with some 6-inch scaled figures. And I decided to start with the brown suit because I thought he was the most appealing compared to the other versions that are out there. However, I have heard that the articulation with the older figs are outdated. So I guess they've made I guess the Deadpool and Wolverine version is much more, has better range in his articulation points. So I'm excited to get my hands on that one. But for now, we're just going to be checking out this version. And he does has some flaws, and it's more of a QC issue than anything else. So we're going to first check out the box because I really like the presentation of the box sleeve here. Like, the front is just nice and sleek. It's clean. The sides, same thing. You just got the X logo, right? But on the back, we have a really nice display, nice presentation of the figure, along with his extra parts, accessories, and some nice photography along the bottom here. So that's pretty cool. Now, the figure itself, I like the sculpt overall, although there is one thing that just really stands out, and that's the neck. Right, the neck, I feel like the neck is like too long, because like his stature, like, I like he's bulky, he doesn't come off as like the Hugh Jackman height, right? Like, he looks like he's just short and stocky and muscular, right? Another thing to point out is that he does not have glutes. That's a problem, especially for a guy that lunges a lot, right? So what happened here? Like, I gotta ask, like, that's my question for the designer and the manufacturers. Like, why does he have no glutes? Like, look at those quads. You'd think that his quads, or at least his glutes, would match the bulkiness of his quads, but they don't. So that's a bummer. But I think the sculpt overall is pretty good, and just I think the details from head to toe is really impeccable. I love the wrinkles around the eyes on the cowl, that growling mouth, like you can see the teeth there, right? Even like the pigment, there's like some pigmentation changes, like for the lips, sort of like a after 5 o'clock shadow on the chin. So I think they did a really nice job on the head sculpt. And then, like, I love that they gave him like actual shoulder pads here, although this one is an issue, and I'll point it out when we cover the articulation. But again, I just think they did a really nice job on the details. On his gloves, we got the straps and the buckles. We got the little pocket here. I think that's a pocket. But I just think they really added a lot of impeccable detail, like, all over his costume. His utility belt looks pretty cool, although I wish they gave him like an actual like X-Men buckle. And then the boots. Honestly, I think the boots are something to really admire, because look at those laces. I think they executed the fins on the boots pretty well. Like, it's so simple, right? With that just engraving there, but it's effective. And yeah, the straps along the back, around the calves, like, it looks all so good. My only issue with the boots are with the toes. They kind of like curve up, and if you're not paying attention, that can really mess with the his stability. So you really got to just make sure he's upright. Or if you're gonna have him in a crouching pose, just you really got to work that weight distribution with the figure so that he doesn't just always fall forward because they're curved up like that, you know. And I feel like there's a thing that they could have added there that would avoid that dilemma, but we'll get to that later. So yeah, I think the details are pretty sick. I like what they did with the soft goods. I love soft goods, and that's why I wanted to get some MEZCO ONE figures, especially like with the spandex and the pleather. I like that they actually separated, you know, the trunks with the spandex. Like they use the pleather for the trunks, and even the trunks are like, and you know, the brown uh sections of the costume. It's like there's like minor detail there, right? We got like some black along the edge, and we got like some like black accent lines. So that's a nice touch there. You know, especially on the top half, I like that they use both pleather and spandex, and actually additionally some plastic along the sides. Now I don't think that's actually necessary, but it is a cool bit of detail. um but yeah, I like how it looks. Now whether it's like actually functional, that's where it gets a little tricky with the articulation. So the articulation is like okay, but I think the spandex, like the material, does kind of hinder some areas. So you know, we'll just start with the legs, right? Like the knees bend very nicely, um, you know, because the spandex. Although you would think maybe you can have some like swivel underneath the knee there, but you know, I guess because the spandex are stitched to it, that's why they're not available. I don't know. Um, since this is my only MEZCO figure, I don't know if other ones have that available. Excuse me. Um, he's got some, you know, I guess it's just a ball joint in the hip there. So we got a little bit of like swivel action there. Um, the feet though, maybe I just gotta warm them up even more, but they don't really have a lot of range of motion. And the ankles, so like as you see, I'm playing with the ankle tilts. There's really not much. Same thing if you're trying to point the feet out, not much there. And then bending the foot, same thing. You can only bend it so much. And I really think they should have added a hinge, a toe hinge there. I really think that would have, you know, add more options for poses, right? Uh, Now with the pleather trunks, will it hinder the range of motion in the hips for kicks and such? Well, surprisingly, not so much, right? Now he has no back kick whatsoever, and maybe it's because he's got no glutes. I don't know. He's got a pretty decent split, although on this leg the pleather kind of pushes it down a little bit, so it doesn't stay in position. So, you know, the leg articulation is pretty decent. He has no actual waist swivel whatsoever, and again, maybe it's because of the stitching with the trunks and with the torso. I don't know. But he does have a midsection, you know, swivel there. You know, it's kind of like on a ball joint, but there's just no range. You know, I think there's a ball joint at the waist too, but it just, again, it's just a wiggle. So I think that's where the issue comes in with the soft goods. It's just it kind of messes with the range of motion. Otherwise, it would have been great to really pull off those dynamic action poses that he's known for. Now in the arms, now this is where it gets a little tricky, at least with my copy, because this shoulder pad, as awesome as it looks, you know, they do shift up and down, so you could get, you know, raise those arms up. So I'm only going to demonstrate with this one, because this one is very delicate. It will, it will just pop out, mostly if I'm trying to rotate the shoulders. I mean, I'll just demonstrate it. Boom. Whereas this one, you can actually get a full rotation there. So that's a gripe that I have with my copy, is that this thing pops out so easily, and I really wish it wouldn't. But I do like they shift like that. And you can get some decent, you get some decent range with that lateral raise. He does have the bicep swivel, so that's nice. Really nice arm bend, right, with the double jointed elbow. And of course, in the wrists, you got your swivels and your hinge. The hands swap out really nicely, which I'll show you in a moment. Now, the neck and the head, this is another one that I think is like a QC issue or just a defect. On mine, the socket at the base is really loose, so to demonstrate him looking down, like, he has no range, right? And if I really try to boom, if I really try to get him to look down, it just pops right out. It's an easy fix, but he really has no range to look down, right? But he can look up pretty nicely. But it's like all at the top of the neck. The base of the neck is like pretty much useless. And then, he's got decent head tilts. So there's that. But I mean, how often are you posing Wolverine like that? Right? Yeah, I mean, that is pretty much sums up the articulation. Like, it's not the worst thing, but I just think it could have been executed better. But I think it's just because of the soft goods. Now, the hands, they swap out pretty nicely and easily, and I think it's because they're like rubber. So if you've seen any of my other videos, I always get nervous when it comes to swapping the hands, because some of the joints, like the tips, are more rigid, and you really gotta like pop them out, and I just get so nervous because I worry about breaking the tips off. But this is like, it's kind of looks funny, but the hands pop out easily, and they insert quite easily too, so there's like no effort. So I am gonna swap the hands, but we will take a closer look at these while we're at it, because I thought maybe like he would come with two completely closed fists, and then maybe, sorry, out of focus here, right? And then like maybe two accessory hands, but it's only 1 and 1. That being said, I do like that the sheaths, I guess you could call them sheaths, for the claws, they actually are they have some depth to them, right? They're a little hollow inside. So I thought that was cool. And just the details on these hands, sorry, it keeps going out of focus. Like, you can actually see they had some stitching details on the side of the hands. Like, that's pretty cool. And then the paddings on the palms, they also have a nice texture too. So again, I think that the detail is just impeccable. Like, there's no issue there, but the other areas, that's where they kind of fell off a bit, or not fell off, but there's just some minor issues. But going back to the types of hands, I do wish he had another accessory hand, because he does come with the Muramasa sword, and it would have been cool to be able to have, to be able to hold the sword and the sheath, right, at the same time, as opposed to just holding the sword in the sheath, right, in this hand. But that's just me. I'm going to put the clawed fists on, but we'll take a closer look at them first, because one of them does have a flaw. Before I point it out, No pun intended. I don't know if there was a pun there, but I do like how they executed the claws in terms of design. Like I like the straight claws. Some people like the curved ones better. I go either way, but I do think these fit really well with this design, and I think they just seem like the perfect length, right? Nice sheen to them too, right? Nice paint job. Now, the issue I have is with this one particularly because it's hold on, you can see it better in this angle. Boom, right there. This guy is misaligned, and it's not a major issue, but when I see it, I always think, damn it. Why with my copy? Right? Why does my copy have to be the one with this issue? So I wish that was not the case. Right? It's a minor thing, but god damn it, does it really have an impact on me. The other hands that he comes with are these open palm expressive hands, which I really like. I like these. And again, the details, so nice. Look at the stitching on the sides there. No, it's like, obviously it's not real stitching, but just like that detail, like, man, what an eye for detail these designers have, right? So I thought these were cool. Of course, we got an extra head sculpt of just the fierce gaze, and like I was saying, the wrinkles around the eyes, really nicely done. And you can see more of the different skin pigmentations here, right? The lips, this sort of like 5 o'clock shadow, right? It's like just a darker tone. Yeah, I think they did a really nice job here. All right. And then last, and I would say possibly the least, is the Muramasa sword, which is a shame because it's a badass sword. You know, they did a nice job with the details. Like, it's pretty decent. You know, they gave some details on the sheath here with the straps, the buckles, you know, the handle on the sword is nice. But when you pull it out, this is where I start shaking my head again. The blade is slanted just slightly. And again, this is where you guys come in and let me know your opinions on this, because this does bother me also. Like, another issue, and it's just a shame because, like, this blade, look at that. It's a nice, like, deep red blade and with a nice sheen to it. It just looks so nice, and what a shame that it's like slanted. But another issue I have with this, or that this has, is the hand guard, right? You can see on one side it's got like that cutout there, but not on this one. It's not punched out. And you know, I don't have the tools to be able to fix that without really like doing any damage to it. So, you know, I just keep it in the sheath. But going back to the extra hands, I wish we had another hand to hold, you know, one of the other of these, right? You know, it would have been cool to be able to like pose him like he's pulling the sword out, but because of the limited range in his articulation points, he can't really pull that off anyway. So why am I even complaining? And actually, the last thing is the figure stand, but it's pretty basic. You know, even the design of the base is just the X with the colors to match his costume. Honestly, I wish it was like just the Wolverine logo on the plate here. That would have been nice. But yeah, the stand is pretty basic. So that's pretty much all I got for you guys. Again, I paid, I don't even know if I said this in the beginning, but I did pay about $130 and some change. And in my opinion, you know, he was comparatively the most fair price, you know, that this seller was selling him for, because there's other people, and this was a new copy, and I've seen used conditions being sold for more, and I was nah. Sorry, but nah. So I don't know. I thought the fact that he was going for 130 for a new condition, I thought that was like a really nice deal. But that was before I've seen some of these flaws, and now I'm like, I don't know if it was actually worth it. So again, you guys let me know in the comments, if it was a good deal or not. All right. Oh, I didn't point this out, but they also include a bag, and I'm a big fan of toy companies including bags for their accessories. So shout out to MEZCO for doing that. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Was it worth the price? Would you have spent this? Have you spent that same amount or more for a MEZCO figure? Yeah, definitely let me know in the comments. And yeah, if you like this video, you want to help out the channel, then do all the things, man. Like, subscribe, ring the bell, leave comments, share, all that good stuff. Because apparently some popular channels are struggling, or not struggling, but they're having a hard time with the exposure. And I can certainly use a lot of help. All right, so I'll just leave it at that. And hopefully I'll catch you on the next one. Hopefully you'll join me on this journey of collecting more 6-inch Wolverine figures. So in the meantime, stay young, keep enjoying your toys, and I'll catch you later. Peace out.